Hello friends, welcome to our YouTube channel Code 369. Now we are going to see React and Redux. Okay, how to combine React and Redux. And this is a full stack development course. Today is class 76. So the website from which we are going to learn React and Redux is FreeCodeCamp, and I have given link in the description box to access this website. And we are learning front-end development libraries. So far we have completed Bootstrap, jQuery, SASS, React, Redux. Okay. So now we are going to see React and Redux. Okay. React and Redux is nothing but the combination of React and Redux. That's it. So let us start the course now. Getting started with React Redux. So for this I am going to be completing the code and I will be explaining you. So I have completed the code now. So let me explain it. So this is simply React. Okay. This is simply React. So already we know how React works. So this is simply a React component. So let us see how it works. So display messages is a React component. Okay. It is a stateful component and it is also a class component. And you can see constructor here and we have created a state here. Okay. So we have created a state using this.state. We are having two state properties. One is input and another one is messages. An input property is set with empty string and messages is set with empty array. Okay. And we are having render method here. So that's it. And if you do not know how React and Redux works, don't come to this class directly. Just go and learn React and Redux and then come to it. Okay. This class can be understood only if you know React and Redux, because this is just a combination of React and Redux. Okay. So the prerequisite is that you have to learn React and Redux before itself. Okay. Then only you can know how to combine them. That's it. Press Ctrl Enter. Now for this also I am going to be completing the code and I will be explaining you. So please wait. So that's it. I have completed the code. Let us see how it works. So far we saw we have created a component called display messages, which has a state of input and messages, and the input is set to empty string and messages is set to empty array. Okay. So we already know all these things. Now we are going to see functions. Okay. Here we are having a function called handle change, and here we are having a function called submit message. Okay. And we are having a render method here. So all these things we have seen in the React itself. Okay. This is just a recall of React. So directly we can go to the render method. Here we are having a heading called type in a new message. Okay, you can see that here. And next to that we are seeing a input element here. Okay, input element is used to type text. Okay, like this. So this is what input element is. The place where we can type text is called input element. Okay, and here we are having on change. On change is nothing but it means if some change is happening. Okay, for example, here we are having input element, and if we are typing something, some change is happening. So if this means on change. Okay, here we are giving a name for this. So if some change is happening in the input field, we can call it as on change. Okay, so when some change is happening in the input field, this function will be executed, this dot handle change. Okay, this handle change function will be executed. Okay, So that is what we have told here. And value equal to this dot state dot input. It means value is nothing but what value you are inserting inside the input field. For example, I am inserting hello world. So this hello world is the value of the input field. Okay. So the value which we type in the input field will now be stored in the this dot state dot input. Okay. So where is this dot state dot input? Here you can see this dot state input. Okay. So the value which you type in the input field will be now stored in the state property of input. Okay. So that is the meaning of that. Then we are having a button here. Okay. We are having a button here and that button is submit button. So you can see here. Okay. I am clicking on it. And one more thing we are seeing here is on click. On click means when you are clicking. Okay. When you are clicking, this dot submit message function will be executed. Okay. So where is this dot submit message? This is the function. Okay. So when you are clicking on that button, this submit message function will be executed. Okay. So let us see those two functions. For example, when some change is happening, on change will be executed. Okay. Sorry, handle change will be executed. So what will happen if the handle change is executed? It will modify the state. Okay. This dot set state is used to modify the state. So it will change the input value. So initially we are having the input value as empty string. Now if some changes is happening, for example, if we are typing something in the input field, what will happen is that value which you type in the input field will now be stored in the input. Okay, this input property. So that is why we have given event.target.value. So event is nothing but argument, and that argument will be targeting the value of the input field. Okay, and it will store in the input property. That's it. And one more thing which will happen here is messages will be stored with this dot state dot messages. Okay, so you can already see here this dot state messages. Okay, so this dot state dot messages is nothing but this empty array. Okay, so it will be having the same empty array only. Okay, that's it. And again one more thing which we can see here is when this button is clicked, okay, on click, submit message function will be executed. So what will submit message function do? So here you can see the submit message button. Sorry, submit message function. So this also will change the state. For example, here we are having the state as input. Okay, with the empty string. So now what will happen is this input will again be stored with empty string. Okay, when the form is submitted. Okay, when this input is submitted. Okay, when the input which we give will be submitted. So when it is submitted, the input property will become a empty string again. Okay, so here we are storing the data which we typed in the input field. Okay, here we are storing the input value which we typed into the input property. Okay, when we are typing it. But again when we are submitting the button, okay, when we are finally submitting the value which we typed, again the input property will become empty string. Okay, but changes will be happening on the messages. Okay, for example, when we typed the messages was an empty array. Okay, here we already assigned empty array, but here also when we typed the messages array was empty only. But here now when you are finally submitting this messages array will be stored with some value. Okay, so here we are giving a spread operator dot this dot state dot messages. So this is just an empty array. Okay, because this dot state dot messages. So this is an empty array. So empty array will be here, then this dot state dot input. Okay. So this, okay, this dot state dot input is this. Okay. So when you typed something, it will be stored with the value which you typed. So here this dot state dot input is nothing but the updated input value. Okay, the input value which you typed, so that will be stored here inside the array. Okay, for example, if I type hello world, okay, hello world, that will be stored here inside the messages. Okay, that's it. Then one more thing which you can see here is unordered list. Okay, unordered list. So what is the use of unordered list? Here you can see this dot state dot messages. It means the messages which you typed here, okay, which will be stored here, that will be taken here and map method will be used. Okay, for example, let us submit what we typed here. For example, I am typing here carrot, okay, and I am submitting it, and I am typing beetroot and I am submitting it. So what you can see here is every value that I typed, okay, just ignore this empty because I submitted with empty input field. Okay, so just ignore this two empty points. Okay, so just take this carrot and beetroot alone. So I typed carrot and I submitted it, and then I typed beetroot and then I submitted it. Okay, so what will happen is this carrot and beetroot will now stored in the messages. Okay, then what will happen is this carrot and beetroot will be separately taken and they will be stored inside the list element. Okay, then they will be stored inside the list element, so they will be displayed. Okay, so like that carrot and beetroot will be displayed here. So again I am typing, for example, apple, and I am pressing submit button. So this apple will be stored inside this messages array and finally that will be put into the list element. Okay, then it will be appearing as a list. So that's it. Press Ctrl Enter. Now we are going to see Redux. Okay, let me complete it and I explain you. So now I have completed the code. Let us see it. Okay, so this is just Redux. So already we saw Redux separately. So this is just a recall. Okay, so if you do not know Redux, go and watch all the Redux videos and then come to it. Okay. So here we have created a constant add to store the string add. Okay, then we have created an action creator here. So this action creator will be having type of add and a message. Okay, that message is received as an argument and that will be stored inside this action creator. Okay, then you are having a reducer here. So this is the reducer. So reducer is used to update the state. Okay, so reducer will be receiving a state and it will be updating the state. For example, here we are having previous state as an empty array. Okay, and we are receiving action here. So reducer is a thing which receives two parameters. Okay, one parameter is a state and another parameter is an action. Okay, so this action will be sent as an argument here. Okay, so already we know all these things, and here we are giving action dot type. Okay, it means this value. Action dot type means this add. Okay, so if that action dot type was add, what we will do is we will return an array which will have the values of the previous state and action.message. Okay, action.message is nothing but this message, okay, which we received as an argument inside the action creator. So that message will be stored inside this array. Okay, that's it. And if this action.type was not add, what we will do is we will give default and we will return the previous state itself. Okay, so previous state means the state which we received as an argument here. Okay, so no changes will be made to the state and it will be returned. So that is what here. Okay, then here we have created a store with const store and we have given the reducer as the argument. Okay, our reducer function message reducer as the argument. That's it. Press Ctrl Enter. Now we are going to see one concept called provider. Okay, you can see use provider to connect Redux to React. So I will do it and I will explain you. Okay, these are all very easy concepts. So I have completed the code. Okay, we will see it. So far we have created an action creator here and we are having a reducer here. Okay, this is what reducer is. Okay, then we are having store here. Okay, we have created store and we have passed reducer as the argument. Then we are having the React component. Okay, this is React component. This whole thing is called React component. So what we have done is at first we have created Redux. Okay, so this whole thing is Redux. Then what we have done is we have created React component. Okay, then what we have to do is we have to merge these two things. Okay, so how to merge? We are going to see a concept called provider. Okay, so we have created a variable called provider and we have stored the value of React Redux dot provider. Okay, so you have to create a constant called provider and you have to give the value of React Redux dot provider. Okay, so instead of using React Redux dot provider everywhere, we can simply use provider. Okay, so that is the reason why we are creating a variable here. Okay, so instead of using React Redux dot provider everywhere, we can simply use provider. Okay, that is the usage of provider variable here. Then what we have to do is we have to create a class called app wrapper. Okay, and that should extend React dot component. Okay, then we should insert a render method here. Okay, and it should return something. So what it will return? It should return a thing called provider. Okay, it is just like an element in HTML. Okay, so it should be having a open tag and also it should be having a close tag, and inside the provider you have to give the store name. Okay, so give store equal to curly brace store. Okay, so this store is nothing but the store name which we gave. Okay, so here you can see the store name which we created is store itself. Okay, so we can give the store value here as store itself. Okay, actually this is a JSX because this is like HTML and this is a JavaScript. Okay, because this is a variable. Okay, here you can see we have created it like a variable, so we are using curly brace here. Okay, actually this is a JSX, so we are inserting the JavaScript part into a curly brace. That's it. So the JSX is nothing but the combination of HTML and JavaScript. Okay, so already we know all these things. And inside the provider we have to give the React component name. So what is the React component name? Display messages. Okay, so here you can see this is the React component, display messages. So like that you have to give. Okay, so press Ctrl Enter. Now we are going to see some concepts like map state to props, map dispatch to props. Okay, so let me finish the code and I will explain you. These are all very simple concepts. So I have completed the code. Okay, here you can see map state to props. So this map state to props is just used to know which state you are going to update. Okay, so generally Redux is a state management application. Okay, so Redux is used to manage the state, so it will be updating the state. Okay, so it will be getting the state and it will update you the state. Okay, so we know Redux is used to update the state. So what we have to know here is which state we should update. For example, React will be having many state, but we should know which state we should update. Okay, for that we are using map state to props. Okay, here you can see the provider component allows you to provide state and dispatch to your React components, but you must specify exactly what state and actions you want. Okay, so for specifying which state you have to update or manage, you have to use map state to props. Okay, so how to use map state to props? Here we are having a state. Okay, so just leave it. Okay, that you do not want here. So simply consider this part. Okay, so here we are creating a function called map state to props, and inside that function we are giving a parameter of state. Okay, so this is the state that you are specifying. Okay, and you should return messages state. So this messages is nothing but the key that you are creating. Okay, you can create any name for this, but here we are giving messages. Okay, and we are storing the state on this messages. Okay, so we are storing the state on this messages. So if you do not understand this, don't worry. Okay, we will be seeing this after some time, so at that time you will be understanding. So just know you have to create a function for map state to props, and you have to pass the state as the argument, and you have to store that state in some key. Okay, that's it. Press Ctrl Enter. Now we are going to see map dispatch to props. Okay, like how we specified which state we should manage. The same way we are going to see which action we should dispatch. Okay, so there are many actions, so which action we should dispatch? For that we are using map dispatch to props. Okay, so I finished the code and I explained you. Please wait. So I have finished the code here. Okay, let me explain. So just like you created map state to props, you have to create map dispatch to props. Okay, just like a function, and you have to give parameter of dispatch. Okay, and you should return something. Then what you have to do is you have to create another function here. Okay, and store it in a key here. Okay, store it in a property. So this function should be having the same values from here. Okay, for example, here you can see dispatch of add a message of message. Okay, so dispatch you should add here. Okay, you should add dispatch keyword here. Then you have to add in the inside the bracket the action creator. Okay, so add message is the action creator which is receiving the parameter of the argument of message. So you have to give the function here. Okay, the action creator function here. So we are giving add message of message. So this message is nothing but the argument which is received by the add message action creator. Okay, and message is the argument that we are receiving. So this whole function will be receiving the argument of message. Okay, so you should remember this template. Okay, that's enough. Just remember the template. So we will see later how these things work. So finally you will be storing this function to a key called submit new message. Okay, so you can give any name, but we are giving submit new message here. Okay, so we will see how all these things work. So please wait. So may move to the next exercise now. Now connect Redux to React. Okay, so this is also very simple. So here you can see we have used connect here. Okay, so let me write the code and I explain you. So here we have to give connect, and one more thing which they are saying here is so what they have told here is we have to create a constant called connected component. Okay, connected component, and we have to use this. Okay, so just copy this. So map state to props, map dispatch to props, presentational. Okay, so I have to give presentational here. So it works. So let me explain this. Okay, so just like provider we saw before, okay, we are going to use connect also. Okay, so what is connect? So connect is a thing which is used to connect map state to props, map dispatch to props, and also the React component. Okay, so here we are having the React component as presentational. So connect all the, so in order to connect all these three things, we are going to use connect. Okay, connect method. Okay, so how to use it? So initially we should create a constant called connect, and we should give react redux.connect. Okay, so instead of using react redux.connect everywhere, we can simply use connect variable here. Okay, and now what they have told here is we have to create a constant and we have to connect them. Okay, and store it in it, store in it. That's what they have said. So we have created a constant here, then we have created connect of map state to props, map dispatch to props, presentational. Okay, so this connect method is used to connect all the map state to props, map dispatch to props, and the React component. Okay, so that's it. Very easy. Press Ctrl Enter. Now connect Redux to the messages app. Okay. So here also I finished the code and I explain you. Please wait. So let us see the code now. Okay, we have completed it. So let us see the concept here. So initially we are having an action creator, and then we are having a reducer. Okay, and then we have created a store, and then we are having a React component. Okay, so up to this we are having a React component. Then what we have done is we have created map state to props and then map dispatch to props. Then what we did was we have created the provider. Okay, we have created the provider constant here. Then we have created a connect constant here. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are connecting map state to props, map dispatch to props, and presentational. Okay, just like what we did in the previous exercise. But now what we are going to do is we have stored this connect method inside some different variable. For example, in the previous exercise we used a connected component, but now what we are going to do is we are going to use container. Okay, so we are going to connect all these three things and we are going to use a constant called container. Okay, so everywhere we will be using this container only. So then what we are going to do is, here in the previous exercise itself, okay, two or three exercises before we created a class called app wrapper. So inside that we created the provider. Okay, so just like that we are creating provider here also. But one thing which we are going to do is, in that exercise stored we stored the React component inside that. Okay, but now what we are going to do is we are going to store the connected component here. Okay, so the container here, so that's the difference here. Okay, so that's it. Press Ctrl Enter. So this is the very important thing here. Okay, so how to create React and Redux and how to combine them. Okay, so we will see it. So let me finish the code here and I will be explaining you. Please wait. So I have completed the code. Let me explain it. Okay, so this is very important because this is how you are going to create React and Redux and you are going to combine it. Okay, so here you are having an action creator called add message. Okay, and here you are having a reducer, then you are having a store here. Okay, then what you are going to do is you are going to have React here. Okay, so this is what the React component is. Okay, this is what the React component is. So we are having the same React component here. Okay, already we saw it in the previous exercise. So these are all things we already saw in the previous exercise itself. Okay, React. So what will happen here is, let us type a message here called caret and give submit. So you will be seeing caret in a list. Okay, then you are going to give apple and then submit, and then you are going to give cucumber and then submit it. Okay, so now you can see whatever you type inside the input field will now be displayed as a list. Okay, so already we saw how this React component works, but only thing here is you are going to see how we are going to do using Redux. Okay, so let us see it. So here we are having the presentational component. Okay, React component, and here we are having a state called input and we have set it to an empty string. Okay, then here we are having two functions, so leave it. Okay, that is not necessary here, so leave this. Then you are having a heading called type in a new message, so this message is displayed here. Then you are having the input field here, so the value which is typed inside the input field. For example, this is the input field, so whatever value you type inside this input field will be stored inside the state property of input. So this is okay, so inside this input the value will be stored, this input value will be stored. Okay, and here we are having on change. So whenever something is typed inside this input field, this dot handle change will be executed. Okay, so we already know all these things. This React component we already saw it in this video itself. Okay, and here we are having a submit button, and when that submit button is clicked, okay, that means on click, this dot submit message will be executed. So this submit message function will be executed. Okay, so then we will see, so this we will see at the last. Okay, so first of all we have to see how this works. Okay, handle change, for example, handle change. So handle change will be executed when some value is typed inside this input field. Okay, so whenever something is typed inside this input field, the state will be updated. So the state is having the property of input, so that input will be updated here. Okay, with the value even dot target dot value. It means even dot target dot value means the value which you are typing inside this input field. Okay, so that value will be targeted and that will be stored in this input. Okay, then you can see when the submit button is clicked, this submit message will be executed. Okay, this submit message function will be executed. So now we are going to getting into Redux. Okay, so here we are having this dot props dot submit new message. Okay, and it receives an argument of this dot state dot input. So where did we see this dot props dot submit new message? Here. Okay, here we saw it in the map dispatch to props, we saw it. Okay, so here we are having a function called submit new message, which will be having an argument of message. Okay, so the same thing we are implementing here. So the same thing here we are implementing. So we are giving this by adding like a property. Okay, so we are using this dot props. Okay, then we are giving that function name submit new message, which will be having this dot state dot input as an argument. Okay, so the same thing you can see it here. So this is what we give there. Okay, this is what we implement here. So here we are giving this dot state dot input as the argument. Okay, so this dot state dot input is nothing but the state property input. Okay, which will be updated with the value which we type inside this input field. Okay, so that will be given, the value which we type here will be given as an argument for the submit new message. Okay, so what is the work that is being done by the submit new message? So here you can see submit new message will be doing what? It will be making the add message action creator working. Okay, so what will add message do? So you have to go to the top and you have to see what the add message will do. Add message will be taking some argument and it will be storing that to the message variable. Okay, message property. So here you can see, this message is nothing but this dot state dot input. Okay, so the input value which we type here. Okay, so that same value will be taken by the add message action creator also. Okay, so then what add message will be doing? That will be storing that value to the message property. Okay, so that will be storing that value to the message property. So finally what will happen? So here you have to go. So finally what will happen is, here you can see this will do what? This will be creating a property called a message and that will be storing the value which we type here. For example, pineapple. Okay, we type here. So this pineapple will be taken, okay, and that will be stored inside a property called message, okay, using this code, okay, that's it. So that is what happening here. Then what will happen is, again set state is used here, okay. So this will be updating the state of input, and it will be setting it to a empty string again, okay, because this is used when this function is executed when the message is typed and it is submitted, okay. So when it is submitted, again the input string will become empty, okay, like this you can see here, okay. So this may be looking little complex, but when you are seeing it very slowly with patience, it will be easily understood, okay. So finally what will happen is, here we are seeing this dot props dot messages, okay. So this was created using this, okay, this line of code. So I already told messages, a property of messages will be created and that will be stored, okay. So here we are accessing that using this dot props dot messages, and we are using map method, okay, and we will be taking every element and we will be putting that into list, okay. So for example, if I am typing here as banana, so this will be added to the messages, and then what we will do is, if we click on the submit button, that will be added to the list, okay, that will be added to the list like this. So that's it. So this is how it works. So this is how React Redux works. So normally for simple applications we should not use React and Redux, okay, simply we can use React itself. But when we are having a lot of state and when it is difficult to manage the state, okay, when it is difficult to manage multiple states, we can use Redux, okay. Otherwise using React itself is enough. So press Ctrl Enter. So finally what they are telling here is, so here they are telling us to create a code editor, create a React component, React app in a code editor, or otherwise you can use CodePen, okay, that is what they are saying. So we will see it, how to use all these things in CodePen, okay. So we will see it. So finally what they are telling is, log the message, now I know React and Redux, okay. So this is just for fun, so we will see it. So we will do it now. So give console.log of, now I know React and Redux, okay. Press Ctrl Enter. So this message should be exact, okay. So that is what they are saying. So copy this and paste it here, okay. Press Ctrl Enter. So that's it, my friends. We have completed React and Redux also. So far we have completed everything. For example, submit and go to next challenge. So leave this. So it is taking you to the project, okay. Project and all you can do it by yourself, because this is a certification program and I should not do the project here, okay. So you can do it by yourself. So far we have completed front-end libraries of Bootstrap, and then jQuery, and then SASS, and then React, and then Redux, and then React and Redux, okay. So the only thing which is remaining here is front-end development libraries projects, and you can do it by yourself, because this is a certification program and you have to do it by yourself, okay. I cannot do it. So please do it by yourself. So one thing I told that I will do is, I will show you how to use this React and Redux in CodePen, okay. So open the website CodePen, okay, just give CodePen and log in, okay. So just log in with your email ID or something. So then what we are going to do is create a pen, okay. So give pen and give this pen here. Okay, so a new pen will be created. So I think I have to move to that exercise again. So go to this exercise, final exercise. So here you can see, alternatively you can enable Babel as a JavaScript preprocessor in CodePen. Okay, add React and React DOM as external JavaScript resources. So we will do it now. For example, we have opened the CodePen here. Okay, we have opened the pen in CodePen. So now what we have to do is go to the settings and click on it. Then you have to give the pen title. Okay, then what you can do is you can go to the JS here and click on it, and you have to select the preprocessor by clicking on it and give Babel. Okay, then what you have to do is so here add external scripts or pens. Okay, in this what you can do is you have to type React. Okay, so you are seeing React here, so and click on it. Then you have to give React DOM. Okay, so you can see React DOM here, so click on it. Then you have to give Redux. Okay, so click on it. So Redux you are seeing, click on it. Then you have to give React Redux. So React Redux also you can see here, so click on it. So finally you are having all these libraries. Okay, one is here you can see React, and then React DOM, and then Redux, and then React Redux. Okay, so you have to install these 4 libraries. Okay, one is React and another one is React DOM, and then Redux, and then React Redux, and then give save and close. So finally you will be having all these libraries installed. Okay, so now you can use React and Redux. So let me go to a project which is already created. Okay, so the same project which we created here using this the same project which we created in these lessons. Okay, so we can, that is available in the internet also. So give React Redux project CodePen. Okay, give React Redux project CodePen. So you will be having here React Redux projects example. So click on it. So leave the CSS part, this is not necessary. Okay, actually this is something, this is a different project, we did not learn this project. Okay, so click on this React Redux simple example, and you can see one more thing here. Okay, you can see here example taken from Free Code Camp. Okay, this is what we learned in Free Code Camp. So click on this. So leave this CSS part. Okay, so drag this like this, so we do not need that. So we saw this project now. Type in a new message. So when you are typing caret and give submit, that will be inserted as a list, and give apple and give submit, that will be inserted as a list. Okay, so this is the project that we saw in our classes now. Okay, so how to use that in our CodePen? So in the HTML you have to give a development and you have to give ID of app. Okay, so that is very important, and you can add all the code that we used. For example, we created action creator, reducer, and store, and then React component. Okay, and finally map state to props, map dispatch to props, and a container, and then provider. So all these things we created. So finally one thing which you have to add here is React DOM.render. Okay, so inside this you have to give app wrapper. Okay, as the component, and inside the ID you have to give app, because app is the ID that is given to the HTML. Okay, so you have to add like that, so it will be working. So in this project you can go to the settings and you can see inside the JS you can see Babel as the preprocessor, and you can see Redux here, and React, and then React DOM, and then React Redux. Okay, that is what I told you to install. So if you install all these 4 things, you will be making this work. Okay, so let us copy it and see whether it works. So copy this and paste it here. Okay, so here also copy all the things and paste it here. Okay, and you can see it here. Okay, now here we are having it. So I'm typing caret and use submit. This will be inserted into a list. So you can see it here. Okay, it works. So why I used this code pen, because I told you how to use this in a separate editor. Okay, so if you have to use React and Redux in a separate editor, you can use this code pen. So that is why I am telling you to learn how to use code pen. Okay, so whenever you have to use React and Redux, you can use this code pen. Okay, that's it, my friends. We have completed all the front-end libraries. Okay, so we have completed all the front-end development libraries. So we will see in the upcoming videos. So thank you for watching all of my videos, and thank you for supporting me. Please do subscribe. Let us see in the upcoming videos. Thank you.